So for 2025, we're going to be back in downhill. We're doing it with Richie Rude, Camille Balanche, John T. Williamson, and Tyler Waite. I feel like it's a good, strong team, a little mix of senior riders and some new, fresh talent. So it's a perfect matchup for me. What I was looking for, exactly what I want to accomplish, and so I'm looking forward to really great things with these riders and the squad we put together.
Yeah, the pressure like coming back to downhill, I think it's like mainly on myself. I think I know I want to do well and I know I want to be able to qualify every round. So that kind of self-pressure of wanting to compete at a high level, and just coming from enduro, having won and been on the podium like almost every round, it'll be quite tough for myself to like try and be okay with certain results that I get. But yeah, I think the pressure for me is coming from myself and wanting to, I guess, compete at a high level and do well.
So stoked for you, bro. It sound that close. Yeah. That's amazing.
I think with enduro, I was getting to a point where like I really loved it, but like kind of the allure of downhill was coming back a little bit. And I knew like I was riding really well the past 2 years. I won, my next 2 championships in 23 and 24. And kind of in those years, I was always hinting a bit at like wanting to race downhill, and we were kind of starting this program with a downhill bike again. And I think that, yeah, it just came down to like me wanting to give it another shot and like being curious to see like, okay, like I'm riding really fast at enduro. Where am I gonna stack up back in downhill again?
I'm super grateful to be part of the new team in downhill now in Yeti, and I really hope I'm going to be able to put the downhill bike on the podium. The dream will be on the first step, but yeah, I'm for sure super motivated, and that will be super sick to see the Turq back in the front.
Everything we put into the market and we develop for the consumers evolves from racing. If we can't make a racer faster, we can't make you faster, and we can't make me faster, or our consumer. So without the race team, we wouldn't have Switch Infinity, we wouldn't have Switch, we wouldn't have 303, we wouldn't have Sixfinity, we wouldn't have any of the products today that we have without racing.
Yeti's always been, we've always had pretty like unique designs and our own kind of way of like going about downhill bikes, and we went from the rail system and then yeah, like coming into these past 2 years, yeah, like I was pushing a bit to ride downhill again, and Yeti decided to make the downhill bike, which they did, and they put all the big heads over there at Yeti and got this bike together, and yeah, it's another like pretty special design by them. So it's pretty exciting to like be on this bike and have it be kind of like a test mule and a prototype for the suspension design that we're on.
I've been involved with every frame that Richie's raced over the last 15 years. That includes, when he was racing DH in the beginning, and then all throughout the enduro cycle as well. Through all that time, he's learned a lot about each other, and also what Richie is specifically looking for to have a bike that he feels like he can win with. One of our goals is to keep a lot of the attributes of our enduro bike or that Richie is racing and apply that to the DH bike. So there's actually a lot of similarities between the two. Of course, there's specific changes that we need to make for the DH application. One obvious one is being more travel. It also was a mullet. That'd be one difference as well. And then some major ones on the suspension side would be that one of the focuses was a more rearward wheel path. And maybe let's preface that with saying that it wasn't a goal to have a huge difference in the rearward wheel path. All of our variables we were after was to have sort of consistency and no variable that was too extreme.
My first impression when I tested the bike, I would say, yeah, I think the first one was like that it's not that harsh and stiff, because you kind of think, I was always on an aluminum frame before, and I thought, oh yeah, carbon bike will be like, not comfortable and like, and it didn't. It was quite comfortable, so I was super surprised about that. I loved a lot of stuff that has the Yeti and is like super easy to turn and to move around, and it's light, and so I love a lot of the stuff I had to discover on that bike. But for sure, for me, it was like a huge different, and I had to adapt my riding style as well. So I'm still a bit adapting to that at the moment because it's quite new and it's the first time I'm like on World Cup track. But I really love it, and I think it's taking me also less energy to ride it.
We've learned for many years throughout our history that making bikes that we're racing, so for some of the fastest riders in the world, some of the most difficult conditions and tracks, against the clock that doesn't lie, these are all things that we know we can learn from, and in the end they ultimately benefit all of our customers, despite what their riding ability might be or level.
I guess coming off of Poland, I had a lot of confidence and I kind of believed in myself quite a bit. And going to Ludenville, I kind of came into it not really sure how I was going to like the track.
The track was super fast and it was a bit scary to go that fast, and it took me a while to be up to speed.
Obviously the second World Cup and kind of the first time I didn't make qualifying, and like feeling like you're off the pace doesn't really feel well. So yeah, it was a tough weekend for me, kind of dealing with that.
My riding was well, but not just on pace, and it was kind of hard for me to catch up. But I did, and I'm super happy. I went like 13 seconds faster on quali, and then so I made it work for final, and at the end it paid off, and I ended up fourth again. Leogang was a bit similar to Ludenville, also just super fast. We had an amazing weather, so the track was just dry and going like all out, flat out.
First to 20th place in qualifying with a spread of under 3 seconds. And when you're someone who hasn't been on a downhill bike a ton compared to like kind of everybody else and is super comfortable on it, that's like a really big ask, I think.
It was kind of a crazy race, and some rider went just 10 seconds faster, which is kind of unusual for a track like that. So I was a bit surprised of like how much you had to be faster. So I'm still a bit like finding that balance, like how much we need to push for final. But overall, like really good start of the season. I managed to stay on my bike the whole time, no crash, and I really want to build on that and be consistent. So I'm super happy about the start.
Fourth round, Val d'Isole. A round I was looking forward to. I felt like I was riding a bit better than Leogang and a little more comfortable, but yeah, just again hard to find the edge there to be able to like push the pace of like the qualifying speed. Doing so well at the first round and then kind of having a hard time with the next couple. It's just like, you go from the big highs of doing well with enduro and doing well at the first round to like a really low of just like feeling like you're starting at square one. Having to go through the motions of like not having a lot of self-belief, and those things kind of wear on you every weekend, and you have to make sure to reset and remember that, kind of stay in the moment and kind of take it track by track.